Welcome for the ISKCON Portland Sunday Śrīmad Bhāgavatam class. We'll be reading from Canto 1, Chapter 11, verse number 27 today. The chapter is titled Lord Krishna's Entrance into Dwarka. And we have been reading for last so many weeks on this chapter, and we'll cover verse number 27. But before getting started, I want to recite the Mangalacharan prayers to request for the mercy of previous acharyas. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapad Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namaham Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshitarine He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. We'll also recite the invocation prayers for Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, since we're going to read from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. So I'll share my screen so that we can go over the verse for today. It's here. So I will recite the verse 3 times, and then after that we'll request some devotees to recite, whoever wishes to do that. Sita appatra vyajanerupaskritaha prasuna varshairabhivarshita pathi Pishangavasa vanamalaya babho ghano yatharko dupachapa vaidyutahi Sītātapatra vyajanerupaskritaha prasuna varshairabhivarshita pathi Pishangavasa vanamalaya babho ghano yatharko dupachapa vaidyute Sītātapatra vyajanerupaskritaha prasuna varshairabhivarshita pathi Pishangavasa vanamalaya babho Ghano yatharko dupachapa vaidyute. Would anyone like to recite?
I can try, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you.
सितातपत्र वजनैर उपस्कृतः प्रसूनवर्षैर अभिवर्षितः पति शृंगवास वनमालया बभौ घनो यतार कडोपचाप घनो यथार्को रूपचाप वैद्युतैः. हरे कृष्ण.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. The last line, if we break it in the word by word, it becomes easier. For me also, it was hard to do it first time. So it's yatha, arka, udupa, chapa, vadyute. So those are the words. Arka is sun, udupa is the moon, chapa the rainbow, and vadyute. So gano, yatharko, udupa, chapa, vadyute.
Perfect. Thanks, Mataji.
Yeah, you want to try once again, Prabhuji?
Yeah, sure.
The whole verse.
Yeah, okay. सितातपत्र वजनैर उपस्कृतः प्रसूनवर्षैर अभिवर्षितः पति विषंगवास वनमालया भवौ घनो गणाः यथा अर्क उडुपचाप वैद्युतैः.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Would anyone else also like to recite?
Hey Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji.
सितातपत्रिव्यजनैरुपस्कृत प्रसूनवर्षैरभिवर्षितपति पिशङ्गवासा वनमालया बभो घनो यथा कुडुपचापवैद्युतैः.
Thank you.
Hey Krishna.
सीतापत्रावजानर उपस्कृता प्रसूनवर्षे अभिवर्षिता पति पिसङ्गवासा वनमालया बभौ घनो यथार्कोदुपचापवैद्युते.
Thank you.
सीतातपत्राव्यजनैरुपस्कृता प्रसूनवर्षैरभिवर्षितः पति पिशङ्गवासा वनमालया बभौ घनो यथार्कोदुपचपवैद्युतैः.
Thank you.
सीतातपत्रावजानर उपस्कृता प्रसूनवै सर्वैर्भो सीता प्रति पिशाङ्गवासा वनमालया बभौ घनो यथा कोदुपचापवैद्युतैः.
Thank you, Mataji.
सितातपत्रावजनैरुपस्कृता प्रसन्नवर्षैरभिवर्षया पति पिशङ्गवासा वनमालया बभौ घनो यथार्कोदुपचापवैद्युतैः. हरे कृष्ण.
Thank you, Mataji. Anyone else wants to recite? If not, maybe we can go for the synonyms. So, Sita Atapatra is white umbrella. Vyajanai with the chamara fan. Upaskritaha being served by. Prasuna flowers. Varshai by the showers. Abhivarshitaha thus being covered. Pathi on the road. Pishangavasaha by the yellow garments. Vanamalaya by the flower garlands. Babhav thus it became. Ghana cloud. Yatha as if. Arka the sun. Udupa the moon. Chapa the rainbow. Vaidyutehe by the lightning. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. As the Lord passed along the public road of Dwarka, his head was protected from the sunshine by a white umbrella. White feathered fans moved in semicircles, and showers of flowers fell upon the road. His yellow garments and garlands of flowers made it appear as if a dark cloud were surrounded simultaneously by sun, moon, lightning, and rainbows. Purport. The sun, moon, rainbow, and lightning do not appear in the sky simultaneously. When there is sun, the moonlight becomes insignificant. And if there are clouds and a rainbow, there is no manifestation of lightning. The Lord's bodily hue is just like a new monsoon cloud. He is compared herein to the cloud. The white umbrella over his head is compared to the sun. The movement of the bunch hair fan of flukes is compared to the moon. The showers of flowers are compared to the stars. His yellow garments are compared to the rainbow. So, all these activities of the firmament, being impossible simultaneous factors, cannot be adjusted by comparison. The adjustment is possible only when we think of the inconceivable potency of the Lord. The Lord is all powerful, and in His presence, anything impossible can be made possible by His inconceivable energy. But the situation created at the time of his passing on the roads of Dwarka was beautiful and could not be compared to anything besides the description of natural phenomena. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, this verse is very poetic. It's using metaphors, trying to explain something which is beyond our experience, using some things which are in our experience. Like all of us have experienced sun, we have experienced moon, lightning, rainbows, but the scene that is being described is it contains all of these things together at one place, which is beyond our experience. We can possibly never see all these four elements together at the same time. But look at the beauty of the Lord, look at the inconceivable energies of the Lord that He can make anything possible. So, this verse really inspires us to fall in love with our Supreme Lord. How beautiful He is and how wonderful He is. And He can do anything and everything. So, uh, poets, so devotees who are poets, devotees are actually supposed to be poets, praising Lord with beautiful words. And this is one such very sweet poem with metaphor, trying to explain the beauty of the Lord using some some things of our experience. So it has these poetic embellishments. This particular verse, like when you use metaphors, simile, in Hindi we call upma, uh, alankars. So this verse has those poetic embellishments to make it more beautiful, and it's trying to use there is something called Shakha Chandra Nyay. It's a type of logic used in grammar which tells someone Shakha means branch of a tree. Chandra is moon. So logic which uses branch of a tree and moon. So just imagine if you're trying to show a small child where the moon is in the sky. So the child is like kind of trying to look everywhere. And then you point to the child, look over there, but he's not able to find. And then what you do is you find a tree and you can see that the moon is in between the branches of the tree. Like from your point of view, you're able to see the moon through two branches, in between two branches. And then you point yourself and the child, or just for yourself, forget the child, even if, just for yourself, you can see that the moon is there in between the branches of the tree. So that way you're able to locate the moon much easier. Now, that doesn't mean that the moon is actually in the branch of the tree, but the branch is more in your experience. You can see the branch much more easily than something which is far off in the sky. So we use the branch which is very close to us to see something which is very far. So similar to that, here we are trying to explain how beautiful the Lord is looking by using the examples of sun, moon, lightning, and rainbow, which we have seen using our mundane senses. Krishna is above all these mundane things. He's transcendental. But we are trying to use some things which are easy to understand to explain how beautiful, how wonderful Lord Krishna is. So these verses are supposed to inspire all those feelings of extreme love and admiration for our beloved Lord Krishna. Um, the the Dwarka Vasis were fully in love with Lord Krishna. And this when Lord Krishna was entering back into Dwarka, it was the biggest festival for the Dwarka Vasis. Means they were waiting for Lord Krishna to come back, and when they saw that their Lord is coming, when Lord blew the shank just outside the Dwarka city, everyone just ran to the gates, and their experience is just way beyond what we can describe in any words. It is a transcendental experience. It's beyond our experience, but we are trying to use some small things to say it was something like that. It was way beyond it, and to show that you can. Lord Krishna is being compared to a cloud. A cloud is walking on the street. Can a cloud actually ever walk on a street? So those are not naturally occurring things, but you can imagine, there is a cloud and there is sun, there is moon, there is lightning because his garments, his yellow garments are so bright, they are like lightning. His garland has so many flowers. It looks like rainbow, having all the colors. Um, the umbrella on top of his head is white, so it's looking like the sun. And the chamara fan, which people are using to fan the Lord, that's looking like the moon. So all these poetic expressions are being used to describe that scene when Lord Krishna is entering Dwarka. I found a very nice picture which one very nice devotee has uh, painted. So I'll put that up here so we can also try to imagine. Are you able to see my screen with the picture?
Yes,
Yes,
Mataji.
Mataji.
Okay, yeah. So this is one painting, I think, by Abhiram Das, one nice painter devotee. And this is Lord Krishna. This is that white umbrella on top of his head. And I don't see the chamara in this somebody, but you can imagine that. So there is umbrella, there is chamara, and his yellow garments and the flower garland. So these are giving, this is what the Dwarka Vasis are experiencing, that the Lord is looking like. So I picked up, there are a few points which struck out to me from this verse. One, we can talk about like how Lord Krishna can make anything possible. So here, like having all these four disparate situations come together at one place. So, and he has done many other such things, like he lifted the Govardhan hill. Uh, who could possibly lift a hill on their finger? Or eh, even with both hands, it's not conceivable to lift a hill. But Lord Krishna has done innumerable such pastimes, which just for devotees, they fill their hearts with love. Our Krishna can do anything. He lifted the Govardhan hill. When he was just a few days old, he killed so many demons, starting with Putna and so many more, effortlessly, and so much more. Krishna did all, all the Krishna book. If you read, all the activities of Krishna are wonderful. You can't, unless you have the faith that he's the Supreme Lord, you just can't put your head around those. So uh, that is one. We can count many more such incidents. But there was another thing which I thought I'll first share, that So here we are explaining how Lord Krishna is entering into Dwarka, and this is the experience of the Dwarka Vasis. And in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, I picked two more places where a different set of devotees are experiencing the darshan of the Lord in similar but little bit different. It's not exactly the same, but in one of the verses, it is again an umbrella and a chamara fan. But the simile which is given, the metaphor that is given is totally different. Like there they are thinking of the chamara as a as something else. So let's just read that to see. And that one, so the two places which I picked, uh, one is where the four Kumaras, when they go to Vaikuntha Lok and they have the darshan of Lord Narayan for the first time. So how they experience the presence of Lord. And the other one is from Canto 10, from the section of Venu Gita, where the gopis are describing the movements of Lord Krishna. So let's see that. Let me share my screen for those verses. So one is about the four Kumaras, but let's do the gopis one first. So this is Canto 10, chapter 21, verse number 5. It's a very, very famous verse, and some devotees sing it very, very beautifully. I'll try, see if I can do some justice. It's a, yeah. Barhapidam natavarvapu karna. Actually, I can't sing in the proper meter. We'll just read the translation. But I have heard Narottam Vilas Prabhu sing this very beautifully. Uh, does anyone know the meter of this nicely? Yeah, I'll just read it out if nobody. Barhapidam natavarvapu karnayo karnikaram vibradhavasah kanakakapisham vaijyanti chamalam randhran vedur adhara sudhaya purnaya gopa vrinde vrindaranyam swapada ramanam pravishat gita kirtihi. Look at the translation. Wearing a peacock feather ornament upon his head, blue karnikara flowers on his ears, a yellow garment as brilliant as gold, and the Vaijayanti garland, Lord Krishna exhibited his transcendental form as the greatest of dancers as he entered the forest of Vrindavan, beautifying it with the marks of his footprints. He filled the holes of his flute with the nectar of his lips, and the cowherd boys sang his glories. So the gopis, it's a three-line purport. The gopis remembered all the transcendental qualities of Krishna mentioned in this verse. Krishna's artful way of dressing and the beautiful blue flowers placed upon his ears excited the gopis' romantic desires. As he poured the nectar of his lips into his flute, they simply lost themselves in ecstatic love for him. So here, Lord Krishna, as he's entering the forest of Vrindavan, um, in our verse for today, Lord Krishna is entering Dwarka. Here he's entering Vrindavan, and how the his most exalted devotees, the gopis, are trying to describe that scene. Like what are the things Krishna is wearing, and if you see here, Kanaka Kapisham, that's what is mentioned for his. Yeah, Kanaka like gold, Kapisham yellowish. So his garments are being compared to gold, whereas in that verse it's being compared to lightning. So it's really the mood of the devotee. We are trying to use some words to describe something which is beyond words. In fact, I was listening to one lecture, and the Prabhuji mentioned. Uh, who was it? Yeah. Anyways, so he mentioned in Madhurya Kadambini, I think, that when a devotee actually had darshan of the Lord, um, So I mean, I might be misquoting, but even otherwise, if you think a devotee has had darshan of the Lord, and then he says that I was comparing your lotus feet to some petals. I was comparing your feet to petals of lotus. I was comparing your, your face to moon, or I was comparing your yellow garment to gold. But you are so much more beautiful, my Lord, that I feel that all those comparisons were like comparing mustard seed with a gold mine. A small mustard seed, kind of worthless mustard seed compared to a huge gold mine. So, like, there is no comparison. How much ever beautiful words we use, Krishna is more beautiful than that. So that can only be experienced by very fortunate devotees who actually get darshan of the Lord. We can all pray and aspire for that day to come in our lives, uh, and then we can really have the most ananda, the highest pleasure that we could ever experience when we have the darshan of the Lord. Even Dhruva Maharaj, when he had darshan of the Lord, he was talking about like Dhruva Maharaj had the desire to get a big kingdom, and when he saw the Lord, when the Lord touched his forehead with his conch, Dhruva Maharaj had that realization that I was asking for broken pieces of glass compared to what I have got, the diamond, which is your darshan. So having darshan of the Lord, looking at his beauty is just far beyond anything that we can ever experience. So yeah, so this scene which is on display right now is when Lord Krishna is entering Vrindavan, and how the gopis are describing his beauty in some words. Let's go to the other section which I picked from Bhagavatam, which is this is Canto 3. Is that one? Yeah. This is Canto 3, Chapter 15, verse number 38. Let's just quickly go. Yeah. So the four Kumaras, 38. Yeah. So these are the four Kumaras, Sanak Sanandan, Sanat Kumar, and uh, so they have just had the darshan of the Lord, and this is the translation. The sages, headed by Sanak Rishi, saw that the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu, who was formerly visible only within their hearts in ecstatic trance, had now actually become visible to their eyes. As he came forward, accompanied by his own associates, bearing all paraphernalias such as an umbrella and a chamara fan, the white bunches of hair moved very gently, like two swans, and due to their favorable breeze, the pearls garlanding the umbrella also moved, like drops of nectar falling from the white full moon, or ice melting due to a gust of wind. So even here, there are some poetic embellishments, and that is what I wanted to uh, bring out here. Like there, we were comparing chamara, the moving of chamara fan to moon, and here the chamara fan, the moving of the chamara fan is being compared to two swans, and the pearls which are hanging on the umbrella. Like there are from the umbrella, usually there are some decorative things which are hanging, and those are being compared to drops of nectar falling from the white full moon. So umbrella is the moon in this particular one, whereas there it was sun. So it is all imagination of devotees trying to explain the wonderful beauty of the Lord of that scene, so that we, the ones who are hearing it, are able to get some feeling of love and admiration for the Lord. So all these verses are meant for the relishment of devotees. We can read these again and again and just fall in love with Lord again and again. So that's the purpose of these verses. We'll now, so these two verses I had picked to just show, how in other ways devotees are explaining how what they feel when they see the Lord. Now I'll share one verse from Padyavali, which which takes us into the which is on the point where uh, how is somebody saying something?
Sorry, Mataji. Accident.
Okay, no problem. Thank you, Prabhuji, for joining. So we'll read that verse from Padyavali, which explains how anything impossible can happen when Lord is present. So I downloaded Padyavali from ISKCON Desire Tree. Let me stop the sharing of this one and then share the Padyavali. So there is one verse, I think verse number 6. So Padyavali is a collection of verses by Srila Rupa Goswami. In some cases, author is unknown, but yeah, it's probably by him. But anyways, he has collected it and shared it with us to relish the beauty and the pastimes of the Lord. So this is text number 6 in Padyavali, and I'll just read the translation. I offer my respectful obeisances to wonderful, playful, mischievous Krishna, who, if he desires, can make an ocean dry land and ocean, a blade of grass a thunderbolt an insignificant blade of grass, fire cool, or snow a blazing fire. Can you imagine like what Krishna can do? He can convert ocean into land. He can convert land into ocean. He can make a blade of grass into thunderbolt, and vice versa. He can convert a thunderbolt into a blade of grass. He can make fire cool. We talk about the dharma when we say, what's the dharma of something, and we take the example that the dharma of fire is to give heat. But Krishna can make fire cool, or he can make snow whose dharma is to be cold. He can make snow a blazing fire. So whatever we can think, oh, this is my frame of reference, this is how things should be, Krishna can just totally change it if he so desires. So Krishna is that all powerful, all wonderful, sweet Lord of ours who can do just about anything. So these verses are just once again, created by very, very exalted devotees so that people like us can appreciate, can get some ways of remembering Lord and praising his beauty, praising his wonderful features. So I'll stop sharing of Padyavali. There is then we can, yeah, then there were some sections from Chaitanya Charitamrita which I was again hearing in some lectures which I have collected, which tell about how Lord is so merciful on his devotees, and he can do again seemingly impossible things possible. So there is one very famous story of leper Vasudev leper, who in Chaitanya Charitamrita, and I'll maybe narrate the story a little bit. So he was in a very bad condition physically. He was afflicted by leprosy, and there were worms on his body, like chewing away his flesh. And this devotee, he was a devotee, and he was so merciful, so much full of compassion that if a worm would fall from his body, he would pick up that worm and put the worm back on his body, thinking about the worm that, oh, this worm will not get the food. So he was ready to sacrifice his own body, his own flesh, to feed that worm. So that is the level of compassion that this leper Vasudev had. Now he had heard that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going to visit the city where he was living, but Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left that city before he could get darshan, and he was very, very sad. Now Krishna is seated in the heart of everyone. He knows everything. Krishna knows what our desires are. He knows everything about us. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is none other than Krishna, he understood that uh, he knows everyone, and especially his devotees. Krishna is especially more merciful for his devotees. So he understood the heart of this leper Vasudev. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, although he had left the city, he turned back wherever he was, and he came back to the city, and he met the devotee, and he the embraced this devotee. This devotee was like he had leprosy, and nobody would come and even touch him. But Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced him, hugged him, and then the miracle happened. His leprosy just vanished. So Krishna can do anything. When Krishna is merciful, shows his mercy, anything can become possible. So this, the leprosy just vanished. And look at the mood of the devotee. Like once he got rid of the leprosy, he was happy, but then he thought, oh, now I'll get attached to my body. I'll think, I'm beautiful, and then what if I forget you? He was concerned about that what if I forget the Lord now that I have a good body? So when we have some material problems in our life, it becomes easier for us to remember God. That's mentioned in the prayers of Kunti Maharani as well, that she in fact prays for calamities to come again and again so that she remembers Lord even more. She is at such a high stage of devotion. But we can all experience in our mundane lives as well, even though we are not great devotees of the Lord. At least I'm not, for that whenever we have some calamity in our life, um, our intensity of praying to Lord increases. So that's a common theme. And when we get more opulence, more material opulence, more happier things materially, those almost they can take us away from God. They can cover our consciousness, and make us think that, oh, this is a nice place. This material world is actually a nice place, and our mind can get taken away. So this leper Vasudev, who has just gotten freed of the leprosy, is thinking that, oh, what if I forget God? But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told him that, don't worry, just go on chanting the holy names of Krishna, and then you won't be captured by the modes of nature. So that's something which we can also learn, that we are all in this material world. Our only shelter is the holy name. Let us all just keep on chanting the holy name, and that will protect us. That will keep us connected to Lord Krishna, which is our which is the best thing that we should do in this life. Try to always remember Krishna, and try to never forget Krishna. They are the same things, same things one said in a positive way, one said in a negative way. Always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. And if we make chanting as one of the core activities of our life on a daily basis, we will stay connected to Krishna. So that was the instruction given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to that person as well. And I am also getting reminded of how Prahlad Maharaj, when he was asked to when Lord Narsinghadev killed Hiranyakashipu and asked Prahlad to ask for a boon, his main the thing on his mind was, I don't want to forget you, O Lord. So please bless me so that I never forget you. And that's the one of the biggest fears of a devotee who has got some taste for the Lord. He never wants to be in a situation where he forgets the Lord. And Prahlad Maharaj, since he was to become the king of, he was the one who would inherit everything that Hiranyakashipu had left. Now that he's gone, Prahlad knew that he will be the king, and he was in the association of demoniac people, by the whole class. He was born in the family of demons, so and with opulence. So both the things were there, which could easily take him away from Lord. And that's the boon that he asked for, that please bless me so that I never forget you. So the devotees are always in the mood that they want to stay, they never want to forget Krishna. And Krishna also, um, yeah. So Krishna also, when he sees that a devotee is having a strong desire to connect, to stay connected with Krishna, Krishna also adjusts the situations in that devotee's life so that devotee can make more progress. So the instruction for us from the scriptures is that what is in our hand is to do the desire. Let us try to have the desire to serve Krishna, to become closer, to become dear to Krishna. And once we have that strong and pure desire, without any thinking of any material thing in return, or doing it like a business deal, okay, I'll think about you so that you can do this for me. No, no, not like that. But if you really, have a strong and pure desire in your heart to stay connected to Krishna, he will do everything in the background. He will send the right people in your life. He'll take care of the situations in your life so that you can progress spiritually. So once we take one step towards Krishna, he takes 10 steps, and he also makes other devotees, or some people take steps so that our spiritual progress is ensured. So that's the beauty of Krishna. He can do anything, any situation you can think of. With Krishna's grace, things can be transformed. And this is an experience of many devotees who are practicing Krishna consciousness. So we hear about devotees in the scriptures, and sometimes we may feel, oh, this was very long time ago, and this is like they were very great devotees. Okay, so Krishna probably did that for them. But what about us, normal people? But uh, very, very simple and normal people like us can also uh, have this hope and have this faith that whatever little we do for Krishna, we will see the reciprocation for sure. That's how Krishna works. And I have also experienced a little bit with whatever baby steps I have taken in my spiritual life, that Krishna's reciprocation is way more than what I deserve. But we all have felt the presence of Krishna in our lives, feeling that now Krishna is in control. So that's the experiential part of Krishna consciousness. That's why in chapter 9, verse number 2, 9.2, very famous verse, where the process of devotional service, Krishna says, it's susukham kartum avyayam, raja vidya raja guhyam, pavitram idam uttamam, pratyakshaavagamam dharmyam, susukham kartum avyayam. So this knowledge of Krishna consciousness is Raja Vidya. It's the king of knowledge. It's a Rajaguhyam, means it's the most secret of all secret, most confidential knowledge. And it is experienced. It is something which you experience. Pratyaksh is means something which happens in front of you, which is basically you can experience something. So this is not something like a theory, theoretical only. It is very much once you start practicing the Krishna consciousness, you will see practical things happening in your life, and uh, practically you will see the presence of God in your life. So pratyaksha avagamam dharmyam and susukham. It's beautiful. It's very joyful process performed by devotees. Susukham kartum avyayam. So the devotees uh, who know this Raja Vidya, this most confidential knowledge, the king of knowledge, uh, experience that knowledge in a practical way at different degrees. It's not that everybody will have, all those wow moments, but I think all of us can vouch for that. I have my small baby steps and baby but much larger reciprocations from Lord Krishna in my life. Um, so it becomes, it increases your conviction that, yeah, we are on the right path. And yeah. So it's a beautiful process, very joyful process. What else? Oh yeah, there was so we talked about the examples how gopis were describing the beauty of Lord Krishna, like the golden garment, and then we saw how the four Kumaras saw the beauty of the Lord, uh, that chamara like swans and things like that. And then there is one. So these are devotees, right? So both gopis, Dwarkavasis, and the Kumaras. So they are devotees and they are seeing the Lord in that manner and everything surrounding Lord, his garments and even the umbrella on top of the Lord. They are um, their hearts are full of joy and they are describing it in beautiful words. And then there is one passage in Krishna book, which is nothing but Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, which when Lord Krishna enters Mathura. So there were all kinds of people. So Vrindavan was full of devotees, but Mathura had all categories. There were devotees, but then there were demons like Kamsa and everyone in between. So when Krishna entered Mathura, uh, people saw Krishna differently, depending on their level of devotion. And that's a common scenario. Like Vrindavan, everyone is a devotee of Lord. Dwarka, everyone is a devotee of Lord. But Mathura had a combination. So in the assembly, when Krishna entered, the first thing he did was he encountered the elephant Kuvalayapida, and broke his tusk, and he was carrying the tusk on his shoulder, like um, yeah, I don't know, like a hero. Even the blood was still dripping from that. So in a chivalrous manner, Lord Krishna was carrying the tusk and roaming, and he entered the assembly, and so everyone saw him differently. The yogis who were present there, they saw Paramatma uh, when Krishna entered there. The materialistic people, mudhas, who are called in Bhagavad Gita, Manushrim Tanumashritam, who think they saw Krishna as an ordinary person. That's exactly why Lord Krishna calls them Mudha in Bhagavad Gita. That Mudhas think that Krishna is just an ordinary human being and he's just taken a human form. Yeah, he's nothing more than an ordinary person. So materialistic people saw him like an ordinary person. There were some gopis who had also come from Vrindavan in that assembly, and they were in love with Krishna. So they saw Cupid, and family members, they saw a very loving family person, and but Kamsa, he saw death personified. So there were all categories of people, and their perception of Lord was different. So yeah, when in that was a contrast. Like when Dwarka, Lord Krishna is entering, everybody is happy, and those are all like great devotees who have got this chance to take to appear in Dwarka when Lord Krishna is present. So after so many years, so many lifetimes of tapasya, they have got that wonderful opportunity. So they are all devotees and they are enjoying the presence of Lord. And all those words are applicable for their experience. But here in Mathura, it was ye yatha mam prapadyanti. However, how much ever you surrender to Lord, accordingly, tam tathaiva bhajamyaham. So ye yatha mam prapadyanti. How much ever surrender you have for the Lord, according to that, you will get the reciprocation from Lord. So in the case when Lord Krishna entered Mathura, it was according to how much, whatever desire, whatever devotional level that person had. According to that, they saw the Lord differently, they experienced the Lord differently. And if those people would have written some poem, maybe Kamsa's poem would have had that. Something related to that, not not nothing like how we are reading for Dwarkavasi's experience. So I have more notes here which we can see, but what's the time? It's 8:51. So we have few more minutes. Um, I'm wondering whether I should go. This is more philosophical thing which I had noted of sharing, but maybe we can just stop here. Instead of the philosophy, I just wanted to maybe this one, like how beautiful, how wonderful Krishna's pastimes are. So we talked about how he killed Putna, how he lifted the Govardhan hill. Um, and then, he has created all this variety of living beings from amoebas, like one-celled organisms, all the way till the whale. And he's providing for each and every living entity. The food is supplied for a small ant. Uh, none of the ants have died of hunger. Krishna has supplied food to all the ants, and to huge creatures like elephants, and elephants on land and whales in ocean. Krishna is supplying for everyone. So, and also, like, we are not able to understand so many, like how the bumblebees fly. According to law of aerodynamics, it should be impossible, but Krishna's design, he can make anything happen. So bumblebees are flying since time immemorial, and we are still trying to figure out, it slowly and steadily, our material science, our knowledge base is increasing, and we also put some things in exception. But Lord has created so many wonderful things. um, he does wonderful things like killing, like lifting Govardhan hill. But if you just look at the creation, how everything is working so perfectly, how every living entity is being cared for by Lord Krishna. There is the, every dog, every animal, um, who is left as they are supposed to be. Like, if you capture a dog and keep in your house and not give him food, that's a different thing. Then it's on you who's trying to encroach on that person's happiness. But if you let all the creatures be in their natural state, Krishna is providing for everyone. One tree is enough to give fruits to like so many living entities. And there are countless such trees, which Krishna has created. There are countless planktons in the ocean, which are in the lowest of the food chain, which fish eat, and then so on. So it provides a basic foundation. So Krishna has created everything so beautifully. The whole system is so, everything, waste product of one entity becomes the input for another entity. So like zero waste system. We can't even put our heads around that, like how everything is working so perfectly. And Krishna, through his inconceivable potency, through his energies, he has even this material world is a wonder. If you sit back and think, it's a wonder thing, it's a wonderful thing that everything is working so nicely without intervening. Our body, we don't make our heart work. We don't tell our heart, work now. Our bodies Krishna has created, and what a perfect design. Doctors are still, they don't know exactly how everything works. We have a doctor, Prabhuji, on the call, but I think he also says the same thing. We are still trying to understand. No medical science has not figured out everything. And Krishna has the body itself is a big wonder, if you think about it. So Krishna has created wonderful things. He has done wonderful things. If you think at the soul level of soul, Bhagavad Gita mentions, the soul is achintya. And where is this achintya means inconceivable? The properties of the soul, when it says nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavakah. You can't cut it by weapons, it can't be moistened by water, and so on and so on. So all the properties of soul, if you see, those itself are inconceivable. And where has everything come from? It has come from God, from Krishna. So our beautiful, our most wonderful Lord Sri Krishna, he can do wonderful things. He shows that through so many examples, and everything that he has created is wonderful. And as devotees, we can do our little bit to do the reciprocation with the sweet Lord, like how Dwarkavasis, when they saw the Lord, they you know if you read the whole chapter, like so many things they did. They decorated the whole city, and they were dancers, and they were offering everything, the most beautiful, the best thing that they had, they were trying to offer to the Lord. So we should also try to imbibe some mood of the Dwarka Vasis, of the Vrindavan Vasis, like offer whatever we have, our sweet words to Lord Krishna, and whatever skills we have to Lord Krishna. So I think I'll stop here. We are almost towards the end of the time. If anybody has anything more to share, to add, please do that. Or if I made any mistakes, please correct me. And thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Sorry, Mataji, I joined late, about half hour in. While I was listening to your lecture or your class, I felt the joy that only a mother can really experience of love of Krishna. I mean, there's lots of philosophy, but the happiness that a devotee has for Krishna's glorious qualities, that came out very nicely in what I heard. So thank you for sharing that just sweet happiness. I was thinking of Prabhu can't speak like this because they don't know what it's like to, I think, love like the way a mother loves a child unconditionally. I felt that when I heard your lecture. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhuji. I forgot to mention one more verse which was there. I just want to put it out here since we all are discussing Ishopanishad. We have been reading that recently in some of the classes, and there is one verse which we recently read, verse number 5, which also talks about the inconceivable potencies of the Lord. So yeah, Ishopanishad, I think verse number 5. Yeah, Lord is very far still and very near at the same time. So yeah, our Lord can do so many wonderful things and inconceivable things, contradictory things happening at the same time. Yeah, that was one more.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare
Yeah, it is very great lecture, and Krishna consciousness and Krishna's qualities, and Krishna is everything. Krishna is in everybody's mind and body. Everything is Krishna. What is there? There is nothing else. Krishna. That is very good lecture, and you are giving very happy and encouragement and everything to the devotees. That lecture is very good, excellent. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Beauty lies in the eyes of beholder. You all are so sweet devotees. So all your kind words are actually reflecting your own purity and your elevated status. So thank you very much.
Hare Krishna Mataji. As the other two devotees said, I think this is a very wonderful class. First thing in the morning, I'm very glad that I'm able to join the class. Really appreciate your time and the effort you have put in, and also the heartfelt. It comes directly from your own experience, right? That we could all feel and see that. Thank you for sharing your own realizations. I was just listening to one lecture yesterday, and one point that you made, I thought perhaps I can share my learning from the other lecture. You said Krishna can make anything happen, right? Inconceivable things, and then right, he can take the power of heat from the fire, right? So this is about Arjuna's lamentation when he comes back to Hastinapur, and when King Yudhishthira asks him what happened, right? So he realizes that, look, all the power that I had, right? I was able to defeat so many people, so many big warriors, but I was not able to defeat a gang of dacoits, right? So all this power was given by Krishna to me. It was not my power previously, okay? And now it's all taken away from me, right? So it's essentially Krishna's magic. That's what at least my realization was. I think the point Gauranga Darshan Prabhu was trying to make based on Prabhupada's purports is that, look, any gift or all the capabilities that were given to us, right, it's all for Krishna service, and Krishna can take that anytime out. The contrary to that is, if some of us feel that, look, there are some people who are actually doing great work than you or whatever, right? So there is no need to feel inferior about it, right? So Krishna gives all of us the powers based on what we can consume, what the capabilities that we have, right? So there is nothing to feel inferior or superior based on what you see outside. It is you just need to be happy with what you have, and then keep serving Krishna based on what Krishna has given you. So I thought perhaps I could relate to some of the points that you made about Krishna can take the things away. Similarly, he just took the entire thing away from Arjuna, right?
Yeah.
So I thought of sharing that small
Very nice.
realization I had.
Very nice, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you.
Okay, I think we can stop here. Thank you, everyone, for joining, and we'll see you in the Sunday Feast program shortly.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Dāmodar Līlā Dāsī Mataji ki jai.
Jai.
Prabhupada ki jai.
Take care. See you. Hare Bol.